Imagine a shadowy court in 16th century France, where whispers of poison and betrayal echo through gilded halls. Catherine de' Medici, born in 1519 to the powerful Italian Medici family, was orphaned young and thrust into a world of political intrigue. Married off at 14 to Henry II of France, she endured years as a barren queen, mocked by courtiers while her husband's mistress held sway. But Catherine was no fragile flower. She studied astrology, poisons, and statecraft in secret. When Henry died in a freak jousting accident in 1559, leaving her with young sons, she seized the reins as regent. Historians debate her role in the infamous St. Bartholomew's Day massacre of 1572, where thousands of Huguenots were slaughtered in Paris. Was it a calculated purge or a chaotic eruption? Documents suggest Catherine orchestrated it to eliminate rivals, her black-clad figure looming over the blood-soaked streets. As the Black Queen, her legacy is stained with accusations of murder and manipulation. Yet she navigated France through religious wars with ruthless cunning. Dive deeper into this web of deceit that shaped a nation. Picture Catherine in her private chambers, surrounded by vials of mysterious elixirs and star charts. Her early life in Florence exposed her to Renaissance poisons like cantarella, a deadly mix she allegedly mastered. As queen consort, she bore 10 children, but power eluded her until widowhood. Ruling through her sons, Francis II, Charles IX, and Henry III, she became the architect of French policy. Sources from the era, like ambassador reports, paint her as a poisoner who eliminated threats, including her son's rival Admiral Coligny, shot just before the massacre. The violence spilled from Paris to provinces, claiming up to 30,000 lives. Catherine's letters reveal her cold pragmatism. We must strike first. Yet, was she a monster or a survivor in a male-dominated world? Her patronage of arts and ballet masked a darker side, rumors of flying squadrons, of seductive spies who gathered secrets and dispensed death. This blend of culture and cruelty made her an enigma, fueling centuries of debate among historians. Stay tuned as we unravel more layers of her sinister reign. Envision the royal bedchamber where Catherine allegedly spied on her husband through peepholes, jealousy festering into vengeance. Biographies note her infertility treatments, possibly involving toxic herbs that scarred her psyche. When Francis II died young in 1560, whispers of poison swirled, though natural causes were cited. As regent for Charles IX, she manipulated the fragile king, pushing anti-Protestant policies. The 1572 wedding of her daughter to Protestant Henry of Navarre was a trap, historians argue, leading to the massacre. Eyewitness accounts described rivers red with blood, bodies piled high. Catherine's involvement is documented in her correspondence, urging attacks on Huguenot leaders. But defenders claim she acted to prevent civil war. Her later years saw more plots, poisoning rivals like Queen Jeanne d'Albret with scented gloves. This soapent queen influenced Europe, yet her methods, torture in the Bastille, forced conversions, cemented her villainy. What drove this woman to such extremes? Power, survival, or pure malice? Let's explore the evidence further. Step into the chaos of the French Wars of Religion, where Catherine played puppet master. Born into wealth, but exiled young, she learned resilience in Italian convents. Marrying Henry, she faced humiliation from his lover Diane de Poitiers, fueling her ambition. Post-1559, she centralized power, using Italian bankers to fund her schemes. The massacre's trigger, Coligny's assassination attempt, failed, sparking mob violence Catherine allegedly encouraged. Chroniclers like Brantôme detail her glee amid the slaughter. Accusations extend to her sons' deaths. Henry III assassinated in 1589, possibly with her indirect hand. Her black legend, propagated by Protestant pamphlets, accuses her of witchcraft and incestuous control. Yet recent scholarship, like Frida's biography, portrays her as a pragmatic ruler in turbulent times. She built the Tuileries Palace while plotting eliminations. This duality, motherly facade hiding a killer's heart, makes her story gripping. Uncover the truths behind the myths in our next segment. Visualize Catherine's deathbed in 1589, haunted by ghosts of her victims. Her life spanned from Medici opulence to French turmoil, marked by strategic marriages and eliminations. Poison was her weapon, allegedly used on Francis Dauphin and others. Bartholomew's aftermath saw her blamed internationally, yet she negotiated peace treaties like the Edict of Belleau. Biographers highlight her intelligence, speaking multiple languages, advising on astronomy, but her crimes overshadow. Torturing Huguenots in secret prisons, she embodied absolutism's dark side. Rumors of her poison cabinet persist, with recipes for slow-acting toxins. As France fractured, she clung to power, exiling threats and forging alliances. Her end came from illness, but legacy endures in literature like Dumas's works. Was she evil incarnate or a product of her era? Evidence from archives suggests both. This tale of ambition and atrocity warns of power's corrupting force. Join us for the final revelations on this infamous queen. Reflect on Catherine's tomb in Saint-Denis, a symbol of her contested legacy. From orphaned girl to regent, she wielded influence unmatched by women of her time. Accusations of mass murder in 1572 define her, with estimates of 5,000 to 10,000 dead in Paris alone. Her methods, espionage, assassination, secured the throne but bred hatred. Biographies reveal a woman scarred by loss, turning grief into governance. She promoted cultural exchanges, introducing Italian cuisine to France, yet her dark deeds prevail. The Black Queen myth, fueled by enemies, masks her achievements in stabilizing the realm. Ultimately, she died at 69, her last words reportedly regretting nothing. Historians debate, villain or visionary. Sources like World History Encyclopedia affirm her power plays, including poisoning rivals. This story grips because it humanizes horror, a mother's love twisted into tyranny. As we close, remember, in history's shadows, truth often lies between legend and fact. What do you think? Guilty or misunderstood? Deep in the misty Carpathians of 16th century Hungary, a noblewoman's castle hid unspeakable horrors. Elizabeth Bathory, born in 1560 to a powerful family, grew up amid wealth and whispers of madness. Her uncle, a Satanist, her aunt, a witch. Married at 15 to Count Ferenc Nadasdy, she managed vast estates while he waged wars. But behind the opulent facade lurked darkness. Known as the Blood Countess, she's accused of torturing and murdering up to 650 young girls between 1585 and 1610. Legends say she bathed in their blood to preserve youth, draining victims in Iron Maidens. Trial records from 1611 detail witnesses' testimonies. Servants luring peasant girls with job promises, only to chain and beat them. Elizabeth's sadism allegedly escalated after her husband's 1604 death, turning Sète Castle into a slaughterhouse. Was this aristocratic privilege gone mad or exaggerated folklore? Historians sift through archives to separate fact from myth in this chilling tale of power and perversion. Envision Bathory's lavish chambers stained with the blood of innocents. Raised in luxury, she suffered epilepsy, possibly fueling her rage. As Countess, she bore 4 children, but neglected them for cruel pursuits. Sources like trial transcripts describe her methods: biting flesh, burning with hot irons, freezing girls in snow. Accomplices, her major domo and nurses, helped procure victims from villages, promising seamstress roles. After Nadezhdy's death, complaints mounted. King Matthias ordered an investigation in 1610. Raiding her castle, officials found dead bodies and tortured survivors. Over 300 witnesses testified to atrocities, including sewing mouths shut and honey-smeared exposures to insects. Bathory claimed noble immunity, but evidence overwhelmed. Biographies note her education in languages and politics, contrasting her intellect with barbarity. This duality, refined lady by day, monster by night, captivates. Dive into the evidence that sealed her fate. Picture the dungeon's screams echoing through stone walls as Bathory indulged her fantasies. Born into the Bathory clan, infamous for cruelty, she learned early that power meant impunity. Her husband's Black Knight reputation for torturing Turks may have inspired her. Post-widowhood, she allegedly killed higher-born girls, drawing scrutiny. Documents from the 1611 trial, preserved in Hungarian archives, list victims aged 10 to 26, drained for beauty baths. Methods included starvation, mutilation, and bloodletting with custom devices. Servants confessed under torture, implicating her in 80 murders, though rumors swelled to hundreds. Defenders argue political conspiracy, her wealth coveted by relatives. Yet letters to her accomplices reveal sadistic glee. As Europe's bloodiest female killer, her story inspired vampire lore. What psychological demons drove her? Experts cite possible erotomania or untreated mental illness. Unravel more in this descent into depravity. Step into the raid on Sete Castle, where investigators uncovered fresh corpses in the courtyard. Bathory's life of privilege began crumbling as complaints reached the Palatine. Educated and multilingual, she ran estates efficiently, even aiding villagers during plagues, ironic given her crimes. Trial records detail a blood orgy phase, where she'd slash throats and bathe in warmth to defy aging. Accomplices were executed publicly. Beheaded, burned alive. Bathory, spared death due to nobility, was walled up in her castle tower in 1611, with only slits for food. She died in 1614, aged 54, her screams haunting locals. Recent scholarship, like McNally's biography, questions victim counts, suggesting 36 to 50 confirmed, exaggerated by folklore. Political motives, debts owed to her, may have amplified accusations. Yet physical evidence, like scarred survivors, affirms horror. This blend of history and legend grips the imagination. Explore the aftermath next. Visualize Bathory confined, reflecting on a life of unchecked evil. From teen bride to widow tyrant, her arc traces aristocracy's dark underbelly. Sources describe her beauty rituals, virgin blood for eternal youth, rooted in alchemical beliefs. Tortures evolved, needles under nails, forced cannibalism, escalating with impunity. The 1610 arrest followed a dead girl found in her carriage. Over 200 pages of testimony paint a sadistic portrait, including forcing girls to fight nude. While some claim innocence, citing coerced confessions, artifacts like her alleged torture diary, debunked, fuel myths. Biographers debate psychopathy versus societal norms allowing noble abuse. Her legacy, inspiring Dracula tales and films. Died alone, her castle ruins stand as a grim monument. This story warns of power's corruption, especially when veiled in privilege. What if the myths hold truth? Ponder as we approach the end. Contemplate Bathory's sealed tower, a living tomb for history's bloodiest countess. Her crimes, documented in royal inquiries, shocked Europe, leading to her family's downfall. Though victim numbers vary, trial says 80, folklore 650, horror remains. Educated in classics, she twisted knowledge into torment. Post-death, her story morphed into vampire legend, influencing Stoker. Modern analyses, like Kraft's work, suggest porphyria or sadism disorder. Yet, core facts endure, luring, torturing, disposing in lime pits. Her end in 1614 marked justice's limits for nobles. Today, Chete attracts dark tourists, her portrait evoking chills. This narrative blends documented atrocity with enduring mystery. Was she monster or scapegoat? As we conclude, remember, truth often bleeds into legend, leaving us to question humanity's depths. Share your thoughts on this infamous figure. In the opulent palaces of ancient Rome, where emperors rose and fell on whispers and daggers, Agrippina the Younger schemed her way to power. Born in 15 CE to Germanicus and Agrippina the Elder, she was Caligula's sister and Claudius's wife. Exiled by her brother for plotting, she returned vengeful. Marrying Claudius in 49 CE, her uncle, she allegedly poisoned him in 54 CE with mushrooms to install her son Nero as emperor. Ancient historians, like Tacitus, detail her ambitions, incestuous influence over Nero, eliminating rivals like Britannicus. As empress, she wielded unprecedented power, appearing on coins and in Senate. But her control bred resentment. Nero tried drowning, stabbing, and finally succeeded in 59 CE. Was she a masterful strategist or ruthless killer? Sources paint a portrait of a woman defying patriarchal Rome, using sex, poison, and politics to rule through proxies. This tale of maternal ambition turned deadly captivates with its Shakespearean twists. Envision Agrippina's lavish villa, plodding amid marble statues and intrigue. Descended from Augustus, her early life was marked by tragedy, father's poisoning, mother's starvation under Tiberius. Married thrice, she bore Nero in 37 CE. Banished to islands by Caligula, she survived, returning under Claudius. Biographies note her seduction of the aging emperor, displacing his wife Messalina, executed for adultery. As consort, Agrippina secured Nero's adoption over Britannicus. Tacitus claims she poisoned Claudius slowly, ensuring Nero's ascension at 16. Her regency saw purges, exiling senators, executing threats. Rumors of incest with Nero fueled scandals, as did her public dominance, riding in imperial carriage. When Nero rebelled, ordering her murder, she famously bared her womb, crying, "Strike here." This blend of documented history and salacious gossip from Suetonius makes her story irresistible. Uncover more layers of her lethal legacy. Picture the imperial banquet, where Agrippina served the fatal mushrooms, her eyes gleaming with triumph. Life in Rome's elite honed her survival skills. She learned from family betrayals. Post-Claudius, she co-ruled, minting coins with her profile, a first for women. Sources detail eliminations, poisoning Silanus, her first fiancé, and Lollia Paulina, a rival beauty. Nero's early reign prospered under her, but jealousy grew. Attempts on her life, a collapsing boat in 59 CE, which she swam from, then assassins. Dio Cassius describes her defiant end, stabbed after declaring her womb's betrayal. Historians debate motives, power lust or protective motherhood. Her memoirs, lost but cited by Pliny, defended her actions. This unkillable woman challenged gender norms, paying with her life. Psychological profiles suggest narcissism, but context reveals a brutal empire demanding ruthlessness. Dive deeper into Rome's darkest intrigues. Step into the Senate where Agrippina listened behind curtains, pulling strings. Born near the Rhine, her military upbringing instilled ambition. Widowed young, she navigated alliances, marrying Passienus Crispus, allegedly poisoned for wealth. Claudius's union made her empress, but scandals abounded. Rumored affairs, including with Pallas the freedman. Britannicus's 55 CE death. Convulsions at dinner. Fingers pointed at her. Nero's matricide shocked Rome. He claimed self-defense against her plots. Archaeological evidence, like statues, affirms her influence. Biographers, like Southan, argue she was a strategist in a man's world, crimes exaggerated by misogynist chroniclers. Yet poisonings seem factual, rooted in era's political norms. Her death marked Nero's tyranny's start. This story of ascent and fall echoes modern power struggles, blending fact with ancient bias. Explore the evidence that condemns or redeems her. Visualize Agrippina's final villa confrontation, assassins closing in as she faced her son's betrayal. From privileged birth to bloody end, her life epitomized Roman excess. Sources like Tacitus's Annals detail her manipulations, forging wills, bribing guards. Post-Nero's enthronement, she clashed over his mistress Acte, leading to exile attempts. The boat sabotage failed dramatically. She accused Nero publicly. Stabbed multiple times, her last words immortalized her defiance. Historians note her cultural patronage, founding Cologne colony, contrasting crimes. Debates rage. Regicide proven? Claudius's symptoms match mushroom poisoning. Her story warns of ambition's perils, especially for women in antiquity. Lost writings hint at self-justification. As Nero descended into madness, her ghost loomed. This narrative grips with its human drama, love twisted into hate. Ponder her complexity as we near conclusion. Reflect on Agrippina's ashes, scattered without honors, symbolizing her erased legacy. Empress, mother, murderer, she reshaped Rome. Documented crimes, multiple poisonings, including husbands and rivals. Yet in patriarchal histories, her agency threatened, leading to vilification. Biographies affirm her intelligence, navigating Julio-Claudian chaos. Nero's remorse, haunted visions, suggest guilt. Modern views, like Barrett's, portray her as pragmatic ruler. Died at 43. Her influence birthed an emperor's reign of terror. This tale blends archaeology, texts, and psychology, revealing empire's underbelly. Ultimately, Agrippina embodies power's double edge, empowering yet destructive. As we end, question, villain or victim of her times? Her story endures, a cautionary epic of ancient ambition. In the glittering courts of Renaissance Italy, where art flourished amid assassination, Lucrezia Borgia navigated a web of scandal and power. Born in 1480, illegitimate daughter of Pope Alexander VI and his mistress Vanozza, she was a pawn in papal politics. Married thrice for alliances, first at 13, annulled amid incest rumors with her brother Cesare. Accused of poisoning rivals with Cantarella in her infamous ring, she's linked to murders like her second husband Alfonso's strangling in 1500. As Duchess of Ferrara from 1502, she bore 8 children, patronized arts, but shadows lingered. Affairs, illegitimate offspring. Historians debate her guilt. Was she complicit in Borgia crimes or innocent victim? Sources like Gregorovius's biography paint her as beautiful, educated, yet entangled in family atrocities. This mix of glamour and gore makes her story a Renaissance thriller, echoing Machiavelli's intrigues. Picture Lucrezia's Vatican apartments, echoing with conspiratorial whispers. Raised in luxury, she learned Latin, music, and courtly arts. Father's papal election in 1492 thrust her into spotlight. First marriage to Giovanni Sforza annulled on impotence claims, fueling incest tales with Alexander and Cesare. Second union to Alfonso of Bisegli ended violently, strangled by Cesare's orders after political shifts. Lucrezia allegedly nursed him before the kill, her tears masking involvement. Third marriage to Alfonso d'Este brought stability, but rumors persisted, poisoning enemies at banquets. Biographies note her governance of Ferrara during husband's absences, aiding refugees. Yet, letters implicate her in Borgia plots, like vanishing cardinals. Defenders argue misogynist slander. She was merely obedient daughter. This duality, angelic facade, hiding potential killer, fascinates. Unpack the evidence of her alleged depravity. Envision a moonlit garden where Lucrezia slipped poison into chalices, or so legends claim. Borgia family's rise involved eliminations. She benefited, raising suspicions. Post-annulment scandals included a mysterious child, possibly from incest or affair. Alfonso's murder in 1500, ambushed, then strangled, fingers pointed at her for neutrality. In Ferrara, she flourished, commissioning artworks, hosting poets like Ariosto, but past haunted, accused of lover Pietro Bembo's near poisoning. Sources like Burchard's diary detail Vatican orgies, implicating her. Historians like Bradford suggest innocence, crimes Cesare's alone. Yet her ring, hollow for venom, became iconic. Psychological views cite trauma from family dynamics. This narrative of beauty betrayed by bloodline grips with its romantic tragedy. Delve into the myths versus realities. Step into Ferrara's castle, where Lucrezia ruled with grace amid whispers of murder. Early life marked by father's favoritism, shielding her from consequences. After Alexander's 1503 death, possibly poisoned, she inherited wealth, navigating independence. Biographies highlight her charity, founding convents, contrasting alleged vices. Yet disappearances of rivals, like Sanchia of Aragon, fuel accusations. Letters to Cesare show close bond, perhaps platonic. Modern scholarship, like Hibbert's, argues reputation maligned by enemies post-Borgia fall. She died in 1519, at 39, from childbirth complications. Mourned widely. Legacy, operas, novels romanticizing her as femme fatale. This story blends documented diplomacy with salacious rumor, questioning historical bias against women. Explore her final years and enduring enigma. Visualize Lucrezia's deathbed, surrounded by children, reflecting on a turbulent life. From papal darling to duchess, she wielded soft power. Sources detail potential murders, dosing with arsenic-laced candles. But evidence thin. Many victims died naturally. In Ferrara, she reformed administration, patronized Michelangelo. Father's scandals, simony, nepotism, tainted her, but she distanced post-1503. Biographers debate agency, puppet or participant. Her poetry reveals intellect, lamenting fate. Died revered, buried in convent. Victorian sensationalism amplified myths, like Victor Hugo's play. Today, revisions portray her as survivor. This tale warns of reputation's fragility, especially for Renaissance women. Ponder her true nature as we conclude. Contemplate Lucrezia's tomb in Ferrara, a quiet end to stormy life. Accusations of poison, incest, murder defined her, yet proof scarce, mostly contemporary gossip. Biographies affirm her cultural contributions, overshadowing crimes. Ultimately, she navigated patriarchy's perils, outliving family's downfall. As we close, her story endures as cautionary blend of fact and fiction. Was she villain or victim? History leans toward the latter. Amid Egypt's golden sands and Nile's mysteries, Cleopatra VII ruled with intellect and allure, but her path was paved with blood. Born in 69 BCE to Ptolemy XII, she ascended at 18, co-ruling with brother Ptolemy XIII. Exiled in civil war, she seduced Julius Caesar in 48 BCE, bearing Caesarion. Accused of fratricide, drowning Ptolemy XIII in 47 BCE, and sororicide, killing Arsinoe IV. With Mark Antony from 41 BCE, she bore twins, challenging Rome. Their defeat at Actium in 31 BCE led to suicide, asp bite per legend, to evade Octavian's triumph. Historians like Plutarch detail her political murders, using poison and execution to secure throne. Multilingual genius, she revived Egypt's economy, but ambitions clashed with Rome. This queen's story mixes romance, strategy, and ruthlessness, captivating as ancient power play. Envision Cleopatra rolled in a carpet, charming Caesar to reclaim power. Ptolemaic dynasty's last, she learned from father's exiles. Co-rule with brothers turned deadly. She allegedly poisoned Ptolemy XIV in 44 BCE, post-Caesar's assassination. Alliance with Antony involved lavish displays, but political, donating territories, infuriating Rome. Sources note her elimination of rivals, like sister Arsinoe, dragged from temple and slain. Post-Actium, she tested poisons on prisoners, per dio. Suicide in 30 BCE, aged 39, with handmaidens, cemented myth. Biographies highlight her scholarship, medicine, alchemy, contrasting crimes. Was she seductress or statesman? Roman propaganda vilified her as Eastern temptress. This narrative of love and lethality endures. Unravel her calculated conquests. Picture Alexandria's palace intrigues, where Cleopatra dispatched threats. Born into incestuous dynasty, she spoke 9 languages, ruled without male proxy, a rarity. Caesar's support restored her. Their son threatened Roman succession. Antony's marriage dissolved alliances. Their donations proclaimed heirs rulers. Defeat led to Antony's suicide. Cleopatra negotiated with Octavian, failing. Sources like Appian describe her testing venoms, ensuring quick death. Eliminations included potential claimants, securing Caesarion briefly. Historians debate morals, necessary in cutthroat politics? Her library patronage advanced knowledge, but power grabs cost lives. This blend of intellect and intrigue fascinates. Delve into her legacy's shadows. Step into the Battle of Actium's chaos, Cleopatra's fleet fleeing amid defeat. Early reign saw famine management, deifying herself as Isis. Post-Caesar, she navigated Roman civil wars, allying Antony. Murders, brothers, sister, possibly Cybele priestess. Biographies note her charisma, enchanting leaders. Suicide avoided humiliation. Body mummified. Tomb lost. Modern views like Schiff's portray her as brilliant diplomat. Crimes contextual. Yet Roman histories exaggerate vices. This story of empire's end grips with drama. Explore her cultural impact. Visualize Cleopatra's final moments, asp at breast, defying conquerors. From teen queen to legend, she preserved Egypt's independence briefly. Documented acts, sibling eliminations for stability. Alliances birthed heirs, but led to downfall. Sources affirm her administration, tax reforms, building. Death marked Hellenistic eras close. Biographers debate beauty, intellect shown. This tale warns of ambition's price. Ponder her as trailblazer. Reflect on Cleopatra's lost tomb. Symbol of enduring mystery. Crimes, fratricide, political killings, secured reign, but invited invasion. Biographies affirm her legacy. Last pharaoh, cultural icon. As we end, her story blends fact with romance, challenging biases. Villain or visionary? History favors the latter. In Victorian England's grim mining towns, where poverty bred desperation, Mary Ann Cotton wove a web of death for profit. Born in 1832 in County Durham, she endured a harsh childhood, marrying 4 times and birthing 13 children, most dying mysteriously. Britain's first female serial killer, she's suspected in 21 murders via arsenic poisoning from 1852 to 1872. Targeting husbands, children, lovers for insurance payouts. Disguised as teething powders or in tea, arsenic mimicked gastric fever. Arrested after stepson Charles's 1872 autopsy revealed poison, her trial shocked the nation. Sources like Wilson's biography detail her methodical killings, amassing modest fortunes. This tale of domestic horror, blending maternal image with murderous greed, echoes era's social ills. Stay hooked as we trace her lethal path. Picture Mary Ann in modest cottages, stirring poison brews amid family life. Early loss of father in mine accident hardened her. First husband William Mowbray died in 1865, ensuring £35, equivalent to year's wages. 3 children followed suit. Remarrying George Ward, then James Robinson, losing 5 kids, patterns emerged. Lover Joseph Nattrass died similarly. Biographies note her nursing skills, aiding access to poisons. Final husband Frederick Cotton perished in 1871, then sons. Charles's doctor suspected foul play, leading to exhumations confirming arsenic. Over 20 bodies tested positive. Defenders claim coincidental illnesses, but evidence overwhelmed. This story of calculated betrayal grips with its everyday evil. Uncover the investigations that trapped her. Envision courtrooms buzzing as Mary Ann faced justice. Calm demeanor belying crimes. Life as itinerant nurse masked killings. She moved often, avoiding suspicion. Arsenic, cheap and odorless, was weapon of choice. Symptoms like vomiting hid intent. Sources detail 11 children, 4 husbands, mother, others dead by her hand. Insurance motives clear. Small policies funded next moves. 1873 trial at Durham Assizes convicted her for Charles's murder, though more implied. Witnesses testified to her coldness, buying poison openly. Historians debate psychopathy. Poverty drove some Victorian crimes. This narrative of serial domesticity horrifies. Delve into her psyche and era's context. Step into exhumation scenes, graves yielding poisoned remains. Mary Ann's charm lured victims. She wed quickly post-deaths. Biographies highlight her intelligence, reading newspapers for schemes. After Robinson's suspicion ejected her, she killed his child vengefully. Nattrass's will favored her. Arrest followed Charles's plea. She's poisoning me. Trial evidence, arsenic in organs, her purchases. Hanged in 1873, botched execution, prolonged agony. Modern analyses suggest 15 to 21 victims. This story warns of hidden household dangers. Explore legacy and ballads immortalizing her. Visualize Mary Ann's gallows, crowds cheering her end. From poor girl to monster, her arc traces desperation's dark turn. Documented purchases, autopsies affirm guilt. Yet some claim overcounting, cholera epidemics masked. Biographers like Flanders portray her as product of hardship. Died at 40, her rhyme Mary Ann Cotton. She's dead and forgotten, endures. This tale grips with moral ambiguity. Ponder her as era's emblem. Reflect on Marianne's unmarked grave, symbol of infamy. Crimes, arsenic murders for gain, shocked Victorian society. Biographies confirm methodical nature. As we close, her story endures as cautionary true crime classic. Villain through and through? History says yes. On England's bleak moors, where winds whisper secrets, Myra Hindley and Ian Brady unleashed terror in the 1960s. Born in 1942 in Manchester, Hindley was a typist who fell for Brady's dark philosophies. Together, the Moors murderers abducted, tortured, raped, and killed 5 children aged 10 to 17 from 1963 to 1965, burying them on Saddleworth Moor. Victims like Leslie Ann Downey, taped pleading, horrified Britain. Arrested in 1965 after witness to Edward Evans's axe murder, their trial revealed sadistic tapes and photos. Hindley, dubbed Most Evil Woman, claimed manipulation, but evidence showed complicity. Sources like Emlyn Williams's biography detail her role luring kids with maternal guise. This chilling partnership story, blending ordinary lives with extraordinary evil, captivates as modern horror. Picture Hindley's council house, hiding torture tools and Nietzsche books. Abusive childhood shaped her, converted to Catholicism young, but Brady corrupted. First victim, Pauline Reed, 16, lured to Moor, raped, throat slit. John Kilbride, 12, similarly. Sources note their perfect murders plan, photographing graves. Leslie Ann's 1964 Christmas abduction. Bound, abused, recorded begging. Keith Bennett, 12, vanished. Body unfound. Edward Evans's 1965 killing led to arrest. Brady's axe blows, Hindley watching. Police found tapes, photos implicating both. Biographies highlight her letters professing love, aiding crimes. This narrative of twisted romance horrifies. Unravel the investigations. Modern views, like Wilde's, question media's evil icon label, yet crime's undeniable. This tale warns of hidden monsters. Explore cultural impact. Visualize Hindley's prison cell, writing pleas for freedom. From working-class girl to infamous killer, her path traces corruption. Documented tapes, confessions affirm role. Biographers debate rehabilitation. She renounced Brady, died at 60, cremated secretly. This narrative grips with human evil's banality. Ponder her legacy. Reflect on Moore's silent graves, eternal reminder. Crimes, child murders with torture, defined 20th century horror. Biographies confirm partnership's depth. As we end, her story endures as cautionary evil tale. Unredeemable? History agrees. Envision Moore digs unearthing tiny bones, nation's heart breaking. Hindley's secretarial job masked depravity. Brady's clerk role too. Victims chosen randomly, tortured for pleasure. Sources detail sadism, strangling, burying alive. 1966 Chester trial convicted both for 3 murders, life sentences. Hindley appealed, claiming brainwashing, but tapes damned her. Later confessed to 2 more in 1987, aiding searches. Historians debate agency, accomplice, or equal. Psychological profile site Folie du. This story of child predation shocks. Delve into prison years and campaigns. Step into courtroom drama. Hindley's icy stare defying sympathy. Early fascination with Nazis via Brady fueled fantasies. Biographies note her driving victims to moors, participating in assaults. Post-conviction, she earned degree, sought parole, denied. Brady died 2017, she in 2002, from illness. Keith's body search continues. In suburban Canada, where normalcy hid nightmares, Karla Homolka and Paul Bernardo became the Ken and Barbie killers. Born in 1970, Homolka was a veterinary assistant who met Bernardo at 17. Together, they raped and murdered 3 teens, including Karla's sister Tammy in 1990, drugged as gift. Victims Kristen French and Leslie Mahaffey, abducted in 1991 to 1992, tortured on video, strangled. Arrested in 1993 after Homolka's abuse claims led to deal, 12 years for manslaughter. Tapes later revealed her active role. Sources like Prawn's biography detail her complicity, smiling during horrors. This story of picture-perfect couples' depravity shocks with its modern twist. Picture their Scarborough home, videotapes capturing atrocities. Homolka's idyllic upbringing contrasted Bernardo's abusive one. Tammy's Christmas 1990 death. Halothane. Rape, vomit. Ruled accident initially. Schoolgirl murders. Abducted, assaulted days, dismembered. Homolka testified against Bernardo for deal, claiming victimhood, but videos showed her participating, even role-playing. Biographies note her intelligence, manipulating system. 1995 trial convicted Bernardo life. She served 12 years, released 2005. This narrative of betrayal horrifies. Unravel the deal's controversy. Envision courtroom revelations, tapes playing victims' pleas. Homolka's charm lured girls. She drugged, assaulted. Sources detail 50-plus rapes by Bernardo, some with her. Post-release, she remarried, had kids, volunteered at school, outraging public. Historians debate battered wife syndrome versus psychopathy. This story of calculated evil grips. Delve into aftermath. Step into investigation, DNA linking Bernardo, Homolka turning evidence. Biographies highlight her plea bargain, later deemed deal with devil. Lived in Quebec, post-release. Changed name. Crimes videos sealed for sensitivity. Modern views question justice. This tale warns of deceptive appearances. Explore her current life. Visualize Homolka's release, media frenzy following. From teen sweetheart to killer, her arc traces corruption. Documented videos affirm guilt. Biographers like Williams portray her as equal partner. Now in 50s, low profile. This narrative horrifies with intimacy. Ponder rehabilitation. Reflect on victims' memorials, justice's flaws. Crimes, rape murders, shocked Canada. Biographies confirm her role. As we close, her story endures as true crime caution. Forgivable? No. In Gloucester's ordinary streets, the House of Horrors at 25 Cromwell Street concealed unimaginable evil. Rosemary West, born 1953, partnered with Fred West in torturing, raping, murdering 12 young women and girls from 1967 to 1987, including daughter Heather. Victims dismembered, buried in garden, cellar. Arrested 1994 after kids' abuse reports led to digs. Sources like Souness's biography detail her abusive childhood. Meeting Fred at 15. Active participant, luring hitchhikers with maternal charm. Convicted 1995 for 10 murders, life sentence. This tale of familial depravity terrifies with its domestic setting. Picture the basement torture chamber, screams muffled. Rose's prostitute mother, schizophrenic father, shaped her. With Fred, 10 kids, abused them too. Victims like Charmaine, stepdaughter, Killed by Rose alone. Methods: bondage, mutilation, suffocation. Biographies note her jealousy, fueling killings. 1994 arrests after Heather's disappearance. Bodies found, including under patio. This narrative of partnership horror grips. Unravel discoveries. Envision garden excavations, bones emerging. Rose's role: recruiting, participating. Sources detail 20+ assaults pre-murders. 1995 trial. Witnesses described sadism. Fred suicided. Rose convicted. Historians debate influence versus agency. This story shocks with scale. Delve into trial. Step into courtroom. Rose denying all. Biographies highlight her control over family. Post-conviction, in prison, married briefly. Victims' families campaign against release. Modern docs revisit. This tale warns of hidden abuse. Explore legacy. Visualize Rose in cell, unrepentant. From troubled teen to killer, her path traces trauma's cycle. Documented burials affirm guilt. Biographers like Masters portrayed duo's synergy. Now 70s, life term. This narrative horrifies. Ponder evil's roots. Reflect on demolished house site, Memorial Park now. Grimes, serial murders with torture defined British infamy. In 1960s Indianapolis, a suburban home became torture den for teen Sylvia Likens. Gertrude Banaszewski, born 1929, impoverished mother of 7, took in Sylvia and sister Jenny for boarding in 1965. Jealousy spiraled into 3 months of horror, beatings, burns, starvation, encouraged by her kids and neighbors. Sylvia died October 26, 1965, from shock, malnutrition. Arrested, trial revealed carvings on her body, salt in wounds. Sources like Dean's biography detail Gertrude's mental illness, abuse history. Convicted 1966 of murder, life sentence, paroled 1985. This story of communal cruelty shocks with its mob mentality. Picture the basement where Sylvia was chained, tortured daily. Gertrude's failed marriages, poverty fueled rage. Payments stopped, blame on Sylvia. Methods: cigarette burns, boiling water, forced filth eating. Biographies note kids' participation, like Paula beating her. Death: brain hemorrhage. Autopsy: horrified. This narrative of slow sadism grips. Unravel trial. Envision courtroom. Gertrude blaming kids. Sources detail 38 days of escalation. Convicted, appealed successfully, retried guilty manslaughter 1971. Paroled after 20 years. Died 1990. Historians debate crowd psychology. This story terrifies. Delve into accomplices. Step into investigation. Jenny's tip leading arrests. Biographies highlight Gertrude's manipulation. Kids sentenced variably. Films like An American Crime dramatize. Modern views question parole. This tale warns of neglect. Explore impact. Visualize Gertrude post-parole, regretting? From abused child to abuser, cycle evident. Documented wounds affirm horror. Biographers like Millett portray desperation's dark. Died lung cancer. This narrative haunts. Ponder justice. Reflect on Sylvia's grave, symbol of lost innocence. Crimes, torture, murder shocked America. Biographies confirm leadership. As we close, story endures as tragic warning. Unforgivable.